to the ghetto engine.
Placing images on a document serves as the same purpose as trees and, well, people do on a ski slope. The trees and the people are there to tell you which direction to go in. You obviously don't want to run into them, so you're going to go wherever they're not. And the same goes for a document. When you're reading a document where there's a picture or an image, your eye is going to be guided from there to where the text is. So as you're going down a hill on a ski slope, your line that you make is going to be determined by the people and the trees that are around you. So people don't just go straight down a ski slope. They typically make turns and go around where the people and the trees are. So when you're reading a document, the same is true. You read so that, you know, your eye goes down a certain way. And we placed images in areas, specific areas, so that our eye will go down the way that we want the viewer to see the page. I bet you guys would have never guessed that snowboarding and design have something in common, but they do, obviously. And now I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about images and how you can use them to more effectively communicate to your viewer. But first, before I begin, I want to share a quote with you that I really like, especially since it applies to our topic today, which is images, and that is, "A picture is worth 1,000 words." And to be honest, in today's world, this is probably a real big, huge understatement, because as we know, we are bombarded with so much information every single day, and we probably take in maybe a fourth, if that, of what we see. So it's really important to use imagery and try and capture our viewers' attention from the get-go, so that they will take a look at what it is we're trying to communicate. Okay, so let's talk about imagery, and in order to do this, I'm going to show you guys a brochure that I did, just because I think it really conveys what an image can do for any document or web page or video, whatever you're creating. So as you can see here, here's the brochure that I did. This is the finalized version, and I'll show you here the first version that I was sent. It's very plain, very, has no pictures hardly on it at all, so I didn't really have to do a whole lot to make this look any better. Any type of imagery that I placed on here would have definitely given it some flavor and made it more appealing, so not too hard of a task, I guess. But I really like the picture that I have on this one, and I'm going to go into detail about why I chose it and how you can use my technique to better your documents or web pages or videos or whatever it is you're creating. So there are a few key points that you want to think about when choosing your images. The first being, where is the image leading my reader to? So in this case, the image is leading the viewer down the page, and whether you want the viewer to be led to your text or whatever it is, one way of doing that is by placing an image and having them look in the direction of your text. Even if the picture isn't currently looking the way that you want it to, you can always make it flip so that it is. And actually, in my case, the guy wasn't looking to the right, he was actually looking to the left when I first got the picture. So that's one thing that I find that's really, really important that you should always do, is just make sure that whatever it is, it doesn't have to be a person, it can be, a pineapple or something, whatever it is, make sure that it's pointing to the direction that you want to lead the viewer to. So that's one key thing to remember when creating your document. Another thing that you want to remember is that you don't have to use the complete huge picture that that you originally get. You can always crop it and make it look a little bit more interesting. As I have here, this guy, the whole rock is actually shown in the original picture, and I cropped it so that we just used what was needed. There's no need to use extra picture on a page. It just creates clutter and it's just unnecessary. You know, we're using documents to communicate to our viewers, clearly not to make them more confused. So crop your pictures, use only what's necessary, you know. So those are two really, really important things to remember when using your images. The third thing I want to touch on is make sure you leave plenty of room around the object or around the image, so that the eye naturally flows around the page. You don't want this, you don't want your images being so close to your text that your viewer isn't able to navigate around the page clearly. So those are just a few quick things that you might want to consider when creating a document. Like I said before, it's just like snowboarding. You have trees and people that guide you down the way that you go down a hill, and with a document you need someone to guide you as well. So it's important to use images and text to guide a reader down a page.
I have your attention, as I mentioned, these instruments